Hi, this is Radhakrishnan. Welcome to Python tutorial episode 2. I hope that you would have solved the exercises that I gave in the previous episode. If you need any help on that, please type in the comments box and I will try to answer it. The topics that I want to cover today is the various data types supported in Python language. Python supports two types of data types: primitive data types, complex data types. Python supports following primitive data types: integer, which can have possible values of whole numbers without decimal points. Example 10. Float, which can have whole number with decimal point. Example 13.3. Boolean, which can have only two values, true or false. String, alphanumeric characters. It can contain any characters. Example episode 2. Let's go to Python shell and see how we can declare these types of variables. I'm entering into the shell. I'm declaring a integer underscore variable with value 10 and declaring float underscore variable with value 13.3 and declaring boolean underscore variable with value true and declaring string underscore variable with value episode 2. There are two ways to declare a variable. Either you can specify the values directly or you can specify the type of the variable while declaring the variable. This is another example of declaring the variable with type specified. These types of declaration is useful in certain cases. I will be talking about those cases in future videos. I'm declaring the four variables, all of them again with the type specified. I have declared four variables with different types of value in each of them. Can I change the value of these variables after declaration? Yes, I can change it. Let's change the integer underscore variable. Let's print the output of this variable. Can I change this variable to have different types of value? Let's say string. Yes, that is also possible in Python. Let's change this integer underscore variable to have a value of string. Let's print the output. Nice, right? Python is not restricting the variable to have any specific type of value. The value and the type of value can be changed in the variable at any time, but it can have only one value in a primitive type. I will ignore int, float, boolean types as they are straightforward. Let's look at string a little bit deeper. There are five ways to declare a string based on how we want to show it on the screen while printing that variable. Method 1. Basic method. Here we will be declaring the strings with single quotes or double quotes. Let's print both of the strings. So it does not make any difference with single quotes or double quotes. The values are same. Method 2. Strings having single quotes or double quotes within them. We have to use backslash to escape that character while declaring the string. Let's print both of them. Method 3. Strings with new line character. When we want to display the string into multiple lines, we use /n. We call this character as new line character. Let's define a string with new line character and print it. Method 4. Long string splitting. Let's say I want to have very long string. Instead of keeping the string this much long, we can split the string into multiple parts and keep it in the variable. The only thing you should do is put open bracket at start of the string and close bracket at end of the string. Let's print both of them. In output perspective, it is same, but it is much easier to maintain in the code if the string is really long. Method 5. Multi-line string. Let's say you want to have string variable spanning multiple lines and want to give some indentation or formatting in those lines while printing. Let's print this variable. This way is more useful when we want to give some formatted help text to the user. Now we have seen different types of string declaration. Let's see how we can access values in the defined string. The characters in the string can be referred using index numbers. Index numbers starts with 0. Let's define one more string variable with value Python. And let's try to access the first character using the index number 0. We can refer the last character using the index number 5. Like this, we can refer the characters using other indices also. Indices can be referred using negative numbers also. Let's say I want to access the last character using negative number. I can use -1. -2 index refers to the second last character. In this way, we can refer other indices using negative numbers. Fine. But what will happen if we give the index that is not there in the string itself? Let's see it. Python will give you index out of range with negative number and also with positive number. We can slice the existing strings and can create new strings from that. Let's say I want to create two strings, py and on, from the string Python that we have declared already. This is called string slicing. We are taking part of the string of already defined variable and creating a new variable with string slicing. Here, the colon is used to define the range of indices. If you do not specify start in the first example, it will refer the 0 as the start. If you don't specify the end range, it will take the last index as the end. Let's print both of these variables. See, the pi is only stored in S1, on only stored in S2. The actual string is not modified. In this way, you can create new strings from already existing string, but you cannot modify the content of already existing string variable. Let's try to modify the existing string. Let's say I want to change the first character in string variable s. As I said, Python will not allow you to modify the existing string. Now we have seen the primitive data types of Python. Now let's see the complex data types. What are complex data types? Complex data types are the variable types where we can have more than one value in that. Python supports many number of complex types. Let's see two basic complex type from that: tuple and list. How to define tuples and list? Let's see in the command prompt. Tuples are defined using open brackets and close brackets and comma between the elements. List variables are defined using open square bracket and close square bracket and comma between the elements. Complex types can have different types of value also. It is not necessary to have only one type of value in complex types. Let's create another tuple and list variables with different types of value in it. Here, the complex types are having integer and also string, but it is always best practice to have only one type of value in the complex types. As we explained in the string section, we can access the individual elements in the complex types using its indices. Let's access the tuple variable with indices. I'm referring the first element and I'm referring the last element. But please remember that just like string, tuple variables cannot be modified once it is declared. Let's see what happens when we modify the tuple. Let's try to modify the first element in the tuple variable. See, Python has returned you same error as string. List also can be accessed using indices, but list variables can be modified. Let's modify the first element in the list. I have modified with value 4. Let's print it. As you can see, the first element in the list is changed from 1 to 4. Since tuple is more like string but list is not, we can look at more deeper on the list. Let's define the list once more. Print that variable. You can add an element into the list using a method called append. Let's add one more element into the already existing list. Let's print the list to see the output. You can see that the element 3 have been added into the already existing list. You can add more than one element into the list using the method called extend. Let's define one more list. Here I have extended the first list with the second list defined. Let's print the second list and see the output. You can see the whole list is added into the already existing list. You can delete any element in the list using index. Like here I am deleting the first element in the list. See, the first element 1 numeric 1 is deleted from the list. You can delete more than one value just like this. See here I have deleted more than one values string TWO and numeric number 2 also got deleted in the list. Now let's recap what we have learned today. We have learned two categories of data types: primitive data types, complex data types. Primitive data types having four types: integer, float, boolean, and string. String cannot be modified. In complex types, we have seen list and tuple. Tuples cannot be modified. So string and tuples are more or like equal, but list can be modified at any point in time. I hope that now you have understood the data types in the Python language. Please do the following exercise on your own. Create help text spanning multiple lines to provide options to the user. Example, it can have options like 1 tea, 2 coffee, 3 black coffee, like that. You can provide any options to the user. Exercise 2. Create list and slice them using positive and negative indices. Exercise 3. Create list with integers and find the cube values of each of these values and create a second list out of this. Thank you.